kids out there, great, you know that. We've brought a lot of them here and showed them off over the years. So today I have 8 of the Rotary Scholarship winners. So if you guys would come on up here, and they're going to introduce themselves and say a little bit about themselves, which scholarship they got, and who's going to be lucky number 1. Angela?
I guess me.
All right.
Oh gosh, this is still too high. I'm a small person. My name is Angela Batt. My parents are Mary and David Batt. And next year I will be attending the University of Notre Dame to get a degree in classical Greek and Roman civilization. And I received the Rotary Endowment Scholarship for $1,000. So thank you all so much for allowing me this opportunity to go towards my college education.
My name is Samantha Klima. My parents are Jim and Sharon Klima. I will be attending the University of St. Francis to major in nursing. I received the Rotary Endowment Scholarship for $1,000, and I would like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity with that scholarship to help pursue my career. Thank you.
My name is Lainey Balser. I'm the daughter of Neil and Nikki Balser. I was the recipient of the Ridenauer Scholarship, and I will be attending the University of Findlay next year to major in animal science with a pre-veterinary track. And I would also like to thank everyone for this opportunity and the scholarship money.
My name is Taylor Larry. I'm the daughter of Joe and Cheryl Larry. I was a recipient of the Rotary Endowment Scholarship, and that will help me to further my education at Ball State, where I'll be majoring in nursing. So thank you all.
My name is Riley Figgins. I'm the daughter of Pete and Christina Figgins, and I also received the Rotary Endowment Scholarship, and I will be attending the University of Cincinnati's DAP College for Architecture next year, and I just want to thank you guys all so much for the scholarship.
My name is Alexa Michael. My parents are Dennis and Marcy Michael, and I also received the Rotary Scholarship for $1,000, and that will help me when I go to college at Eastern Michigan University for occupational therapy. And I would like to thank you guys all so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate that.
My name is Harley Schumann, and I'm the daughter of Ben and Andrea Schumann, and I was a recipient of the Rotary Endowment Scholarship as well, and I'm attending Northwest Community College for criminal justice, and I would like to thank you all so much for the scholarship. It's much appreciated.
Hi, I'm Barry Neidhart. I'm the recipient of the Tea Garden Scholarship. My parents are Brett and Marcia Neidhart, and next year I'll be furthering my education at The Ohio State University to major in finance. And yeah, thank you for allowing me to continue my education.
How many's in your graduating class?
75.
75. So there's 75 kids in their graduating class, and how many of them were in National Honor Society, do you know?
Like 20 something. It was either 19 or like 20 something.
20 some. And honor roll was incredible too. I think it was like half the class up there. And just on a side note, the seniors this year had over $1.3 million worth of scholarships that they earned. So it's a pretty awesome class. Thank you for letting us come and share today.
Thanks for being here, guys. And I am going to introduce our program of the day. It is Carla Batt from the American Cancer Society, and she's here to talk to us about Relay for Life, and I'll turn the program over to her.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carla Batt. I'm from Defiance. I've been a Defiance County person for probably over 30 years, and I wanted to thank you for having me here today. But I want to start by saying that I am incredibly impressed by these students. At that age, believe it or not, I would have crawled under the table if someone told me I had to get up front and talk. So kudos to you. I would be so proud if I were your parents right now. Jim knows my boys, they probably wouldn't come up here and talk either, but they can get on the baseball field in front of everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit about the American Cancer Society and then move into the Relay for Life. I know that most people know who the American Cancer Society is. We've been around for over 100 years, I think 113 years, or no, I guess we started in 1913, that's where I got the 13. Anyway, we're really good at asking for money, but I don't know that we're always really good at telling people where the money goes and what we're doing with it and how it helps the local people who are affected by cancer. So first I wanted to thank you because the Hicksville community has been very supportive over the years. I know that years ago you had your own Relay for Life for many years here in Hicksville, but just like everything else, the numbers started going down in the attendance, so I wasn't in the area at the time. However, I know that several Hicksville people do participate in the Relay for Life of Defiance County. So it's our hopes to make it a bigger event and incorporate everyone from the entire county. I wanted to start by talking about just 4 areas that we focus on with the American Cancer Society. I put a couple flyers at each one of your tables, and I have some up here that you're welcome to take. The first thing is we're activists, and what that means is we have a sister organization called ACS CAN, the American Cancer Society's Cancer Action Network. And that is the arm of our organization that can put pressure on lawmakers. Because we're a nonprofit organization, we can't get into the political arena, which we don't really want to. However, we know it's important in terms of keeping those cancer research dollars coming. We are number 2 in the country for monies that go to research, and we're number 2 to the government, and we want the government to stay number 1. We want them to put more money into cancer research. A few things over the years that you may remember is Smoke-Free Ohio, and we collaborated with American Heart, American Lung, but we were the forerunners in making sure that Smoke-Free Ohio became, I guess, available, and we're very thankful that that happened. That's just one example of how we're activists. We're also leaders in cancer breakthroughs. So we have 47 researchers that have been awarded the Nobel Prize. So literally, or nearly, not literally, nearly every cancer breakthrough with research dollars we have been tied to. So for example, does anyone know a breast cancer survivor in the room? So more and more people are surviving cancer every day. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 11 years ago, and I was put on a drug called tamoxifen, and I know it's a drug that's been around for a really long time. So ironically enough, I did a little bit of research and found out that that drug was developed by a researcher who used our funds. So when people say, does the money stay local? Well, it stays local in different ways, but unfortunately we don't have researchers here in Defiance County. So the money does leave, and it does come back in other forms such as treatments and medications and things like that. We serve our communities with our programs and services. So we have a a road to recovery program that's very popular, and that's getting people rides to their treatments. I do have information up here if you know anyone, teachers and retirees. They find it very rewarding to drive some of these cancer patients to their treatments. I know you look around the room and you think about your loved ones and you think, well, if I had to have a treatment, I'm sure my loved one could take me. But some of these people have to go have radiation treatments, and that can be 5 days a week for 3, 4, 5 months. And some people from this area only have to make it to Bryan, but they have family members that maybe can't get that much time off of work. So if that's something you're interested in, or you can think of someone who would like to be a driver, I know that cancer patients and the drivers, it becomes very rewarding, and they've made lifetime friends through that. We do have wig banks where we provide free wigs, and we have other services like our Hope Lodge. So that's another really good example of how the money may not stay local, but we do things that help local people. And I apologize, I meant to bring the numbers and figures for your number crunchers out there that like the statistics. But you actually do have people from Northwest Ohio and Defiance County that take advantage of our Hope Lodge and our hotel program. And real briefly, Hope Lodge, we have one in Cleveland. It's kind of like Ronald McDonald House, but for adults. And the reason why we don't allow children in there is because they usually carry some, sneezing and snot nose and that kind of thing, that we don't need those people affected with their cancer treatments around. So our Hope Lodge, we've had people from the area that have stayed anywhere from 2 days to 2 months while they're undergoing their cancer treatments at the Cleveland Clinic. We also have hotel programs like in Columbus down by the James and Cincinnati that will let you stay anywhere free to $25 a night. Those are just a few things how we're serving our communities. And then we provide direction. And what that means is we have an 800 number and we have our cancer.org website. And I know that sounds maybe kind of cold and not personal, but I'll tell you, if you call our 800 number, any time of the day, any single day, you will talk to a real person. You'll get one prompt, and then you'll talk to a person. So I have a girl over in Henry County just recently. Her father's in his 70s, and he got put into hospice, stage 4 lung cancer. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. And she had a hard time with his paperwork, and she called the 800 number, and we had one of our patient navigators stay on the phone for 2 hours with her, walking step by step, helping her with his Medicare and things like that she didn't know how to figure out. We also have oncology nurses online, so sometimes people may have radiation or a chemo treatment and wake up in the middle of the night, have some crazy effect going on, but not enough to go to the emergency room. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can call and talk to a real person, an oncology nurse that can help them, ease their concerns a little bit. So those are the 3 areas. We're activists, we're leaders and breakthroughs, we serve communities, and we provide direction. And then also, I have more information up here about your donations and how they make a difference. A nice little statistic I like to brag about is 26%, we've seen a 26% decrease in deaths from cancer since 1991. And I often have people come to me and say, I know so many people that have cancer. If you're finding cures, how come I know so many people? But the good news is you know them because they're survivors. So we have a lot more survivors than we did even 10 years ago. So since 1991, we've had 2.3 million lives saved because of the new treatments and programs and services and research that we're doing. On to Relay for Life. So who has attended a Relay for Life in the past? So you're familiar. Thank you. I appreciate you coming. We do have some really big Relay for Lives in the area. I cover Williams, Henry, and Defiance counties, so I'm really busy in June. I also have information up here if any of you would like to take a poster. But this year, the Relay for Life in Defiance County is taking place at the Defiance High School. We are not going to be around the track this year. We're going to be right in front of the new high school. We're going to have a lot more kid activities and a lot more things to bring the community out. We go from 6 p.m. to midnight. So those of you who have gone before, you know that at 6 p.m. we have our opening ceremonies, and our cancer survivors and caregivers will be invited into the cafeteria for a reception. And then we'll have music, entertainment, activities, bounce houses, all kinds of fun things that go on throughout the evening. And then when it gets dark, it's really the only time I think that we kind of bring it down, and that's our Luminaria ceremony, where people purchase Luminaria for $10 in honor and memory of those who've been affected by cancer. I do have some Luminaria forms up here if anyone's interested. You can also purchase them on our website, which is relayforlife.org/Defiance County. Let's see, one more thing I want to mention is we really like to rally behind our survivors and our caregivers. I know that we had in April, we had a very nice dinner for the survivors of the Hicksville area here right in Hicksville. And then also on June 13th, it's not too late to get an RSVP in. If you know of a cancer survivor, caregiver, or if you have been affected by cancer, I do have a pen and paper up here. You can sign your name if you did not receive an invitation in the mail, but we do send out over 400 invitations. And that is June 13th, and that's at Glen Park Senior and that begins at 6 p.m. And they do a very nice meal where you're served right to your table, so it's very nice. And again, on June 21st, we have our survivor and caregiver reception at the Defiance High School. So if any of you have any questions, I'm just gonna, oh, go ahead.
Could you bring us current on vaping, is that what it's called?
Oh, you know what? We are putting a lot of pressure on the government for that. We're fighting. In fact, when I think we had a conversation when I went and talked to the superintendent here a couple months ago. It's really, really bad amongst the kids. They're even sneaking it in the classrooms. So that is one of our focus with the e-cigarettes, the vaping. I'm not a medical professional by any means, but from the research and the reading I've done, that's even higher nicotine than smoking a cigarette. So I know that the cigarette companies, the tobacco companies, they're cashing in on this because they are deeming it as the healthier choice because you don't have the tar, but you do have the nicotine, which is getting people even more addicted than if they're smoking cigarettes. So it is on our radar, and I know that our advocacy people are really focusing on that area. Very good question. Again, don't smoke. Besides, it just costs a lot of money. So, thank you very much. I'll be here until 1 o'clock if you have any other questions and need any more information. I'd be happy to answer your questions.